Today we are going to draw what happens to everybody. Your crayons have fallen out of the box or out of the bag and have fallen on your paper or your table. So today we are going to draw our crayons, and we are going to draw them all over the paper. So I'm going to use the gray one as the example for today because it has a really good point still. Amazing. But we're going to draw the crayon. Now we're not going to draw skinny crayons, we're going to draw them kind of a stumpy crayon, just because time-wise and to fit on the page. So to start out, we're going to start with two diagonal lines. 1, 2. Once we draw two diagonal lines, we're going to make a curve on the bottom, and then we're going to actually make a curve on the top right here. Once we draw the curve, we're actually going to come out a little bit longer, just a hair, and then make two side lines. Okay? You're going to erase those two little bumps, just so you can remember. Once you do that, you're going to make another curve, and then we're going to make the top of the crayon. So to make the top of the crayon, what we're going to do is we're going to come on a diagonal up, and then we're going to make an ellipse right there. Once we have done that, we're going to do two lines on the bottom and then make another curve. And there you have your crayon. Now the next step we're going to do is you're going to add the two lines, make them curved for the black part of the Crayola design, and then you're going to add an oval to write Crayola. Once we've done that, we're going to do some other crayons. So let's start with the top here. Let's start with an ellipse first. Once we start with an ellipse, we're going to make two diagonal lines. Once we do that, we're going to make a curve. We're going to make two straight lines, and then another curve. Make our two lines, and that's the top of our crayon. Same as before, add the two lines for the black part. So this is all going to be black right here. This is all going to be black. This is all black. I'll just color that one in too. This one you probably won't see the label. So let's do another one hanging off the page. So let's do the bottom. So let's start out with a curve, two straight lines. Then we're going to do a curve. That's going to be the paper wrapper. And then we do two curves again. And this is going to be our black line. Now let's do one maybe kind of underneath. So to do one underneath, we're going to do this. We're going to make two lines. 1, 2. We're going to make a curve. One line, two line, and then make another curve. Once you do that, we're going to make a diagonal and a diagonal. You won't see it all because it comes off the page, and you might have to make the top of the crayon. For this part, we're going to make the curve and come down. Make the label. Color this black, and don't forget your Crayola logo. And if you have room, you can add one more here. Maybe we'll do a halvesy. Make that curve, line, curve, diagonal, and then we do half our ellipse. And this one we'll do part of the logo here, and why don't we do the label there? All right, I think that's pretty good. So what you're going to do now is in these sections, you're going to write the word Crayola. And then on this one also. All right, now that we have that, we're going to talk about the crayons, how they're used. So let's grab a couple of colors just so you can see. So now that you've drawn it, you're going to trace. But when you draw a crayon, the wrapper is actually a lighter color than the actual crayon tip. So if you look at the crayon tip, it's darker versus the wrapper. So what you should do, I think this would be the easiest, is take a crayon out. Let's say I want pink, and I want to color my pink. So I'm going to color the crayon part, which is the top. I'm going to press super hard for the top part. So I'm going to press super hard for the crayon. Same thing here. This bottom part is the crayon. Now, for this part, I'm going to color a little lighter because this part is the wrapper. Now, if you happen to have two colors, that's even better. So like you can even add a darker red on top of this one to make it a darker wrap. Okay, so let's do a green just as an example. So if this is the green, press super hard with the dark green. And then maybe I want to use a lighter green for the wrapper if I have the lighter color. So this is a lighter green. So I'm going to use the lighter green for the wrapper. So you basically need a dark and a light of every color to color your crayons. When you are done coloring your crayons, you're going to take a pencil and we're going to shade underneath. So anytime you see an area, you're going to shade with your pencil underneath the crayon. So we have a shade here, actually a little bit on that crayon because it touches. Smear it. We have a shadow here. This is all with your pencil now. Shadow here. Shadow over here. So you're just going to pick one side and do a shadow. And then we have a shadow on this side and a little underneath. And then it's going to look like a 3D picture. So please take your time, go slow. Remember to use a dark and a light color. Don't forget these parts here are dark. Crayola usually has this part black, but if it's a little too hard, you can just write the word Crayola, and then maybe, in our case, we can just use a little bit darker color there, the darker, just to make it look right. So please go slow, take your time, and I cannot wait to see your crayons.